Hi, welcome to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends. And wow, well, if you're all still there, because I know we were supposed to start at 8 o'clock, but we had some serious technical difficulties. Actually, one of our guests, one of my friends, actually had left, and she came back. So it's we're here, we're doing it, and hey, Janine made it happen, and thank you for joining us and hanging in there, and you're going to really enjoy it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. My passion is all about education and helping people just have better quality of life, and to share my knowledge with them, and just inspire and help have this life. So anyway, I'm Dee, and I have my friends here today, and I'm like so excited because I have some old friends that I hadn't seen in a little bit, and then I have some a new friend that is like I hadn't seen her in a little bit either, because we all knew each other, but it's just that I hadn't seen. And we're going to be talking about self-image, and it's a very important topic, and we're all very passionate about it. So it's like yay, yay, yay. So I'm going to start with Dawn. Hi, Dawn. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Fabulous, fabulous.
Good.
Well, you know what the whole thing is. So what's your passion for life?
So my passion for life is to live lovingly and strong and courageously, and to teach others, especially children, how to do the same.
Right, right. Oh, well, I know you were here about a year ago, a little over.
It was probably about a year ago.
And you were sharing about self-esteem and what have you. So it was a real powerful show, and we had some kids on, your nieces, and
Yes.
it was really, really cool. Well,
They're my inspiration.
yeah. So, hey, Tara.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm so glad. You started this little movement here. And so right now, we're not going to go into that, but I just wanted to introduce you. We're going to go into it,
Oh, sure. No.
really big. And so just what is your passion for life?
For me, self-love. For me, I had to really struggle to learn self-love and then putting myself first. So me, I'm a coach, and I want to teach women how to inspire, motivate, transform, and love themselves. Just
Okay.
any size.
Wow. Okay, cool. And actually, I think we all have that same theme going. And I have another friend that has actually been my co-host, and she's been around for a little bit too. And
You make me sound old.
no, not at all. Because I'm the oldest one here. Thank you, but
You look great.
yeah, thank you. But it's not about old. It's about just living
been around
How
a
you
while.
feel.
Yeah, and living life to the fullest, and with
Wisdom.
love and inspiration and what have you. So, Miss Cherie, I'm sorry. Cherie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Dee?
I'm very good. Good.
My
What's your
passion for life
Yeah.
is helping others live a more fulfilled life, live happier, and of course, love.
Right. And you're all about love, and always have been. So I just had to have you here because it's self-love and self-image and self-esteem, and all that is self-confidence. It's all related. And yes, you have a new,
Let's use
we're going to
love for
talk
life.
about that too, because we have a lot of people. We right now, my friends here we're all about coaching, helping, caring, and I know right now, Tara actually has a documentary that she's sponsoring, and that's when I saw this documentary on Facebook, and it spoke with me, and I hadn't actually seen Tara in I don't
Over
know
a year, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
easy. And I only met you once or twice or
connected.
something but we did connect definitely. And so I reached out and I said, hey, what is it all about? And she told me, and I was like, I love it, and I'm going to invite my friends and help you make this happen. So I started reaching out and
Right, I
sharing.
appreciate
and
that. It was
and
amazing.
I appreciate it
It was
too,
amazing.
because it's important to get this message to
Absolutely.
everybody. So hey, so let's talk about it a little bit, and then we're going to talk about self-image. You know, what is self-image? So, tell me how you got it.
Sure. Well, for me, the body image movement I became an ambassador for. Taryn Brumfitt, she is the director. She's the one behind the movement. So I really felt connected with her message because it's my message. So I got involved with I became an ambassador, and from there I found out that the movie Embrace, the documentary, was something that I could be a part of, and I volunteered. So I'm hosting the show in Regal, Ronkonkoma, and it's for December 8th. The tickets need to be sold ahead of time because it's a grassroots movie, so it's not something that you can actually purchase at the door. So that deadline is Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And it really, Taryn went around the world for 2 years, and she spoke with women on the streets, actresses, and she really realized that there was a bigger issue here.
Right.
So it's partly her story, partly the women that she connected with, the story, and it's very inspirational and it's life-changing. So I'm so behind it. So I definitely want everyone to be involved, and it's just, yeah. It's
Sounds
just
beautiful.
It really is. I'm so excited.
Well, I know that, okay, you are a
Spiritual self-love coach.
okay. And I know that Cherie is a psychoanalyst. And so she's dealing with people's images and their self-worth and what have you.
I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah. And, well.
But what I do is really more about the mind, the unconscious, and early development, and how we get to where we are, and kind of getting rid of the negative part of it,
Right.
keeping all the good stuff, getting rid of the bad stuff.
Right. Well, in terms of what is your definition of self-image, or how do you?
I would say one's idea of their own abilities and who they think they are. Yeah.
Right. Well, when I was reading it, it said something about that.
Yeah.
It's definitely how you feel about
Yeah, they have
yourself,
your own idea.
and then also how other people you think
Other people
perceive
view
you.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that-
if you perceive yourself to be a certain way, you're gonna think other people see you that way.
Well, yeah, and what the problem is a lot of times you think that other people may see you in a certain way, and you're concerned about that. I don't
Yes.
know. Now, I know you wrote a book
Yes.
about self-esteem,
Yes.
which is geared towards kids,
Right.
but the fact that with that, it really is how you grow up. So it's the basic blocks, you know.
Yes.
So
That's where it begins.
and the self-esteem is very related to self-image.
It's very ingrained.
It
also.
all works
Right.
together.
It's
You
connected.
just,
Right.
yes.
But I always feel like that's a difficult area to deal with when it comes to people, because it's so ingrained, and it starts early. And sometimes it's difficult for someone to learn to have because I don't usually say a good self-esteem or bad self-esteem, but a healthier sense of self.
Right,
Especially with the media
right,
and, what's on TV and internet and magazines. That's really, the magazines especially, they're not an actual person. Like they, like I was saying before, like they have their hips are, completely gone. They have no thigh gap or anything, and they're looking up to these women, and that's an unrealistic goal. So they're sitting here going, oh my goodness, I have thigh fat, and oh my arms,
That's
and
you know what? I was having the same conversation with two of my interns today, but it's totally the opposite when it comes to women of color. This is interesting because now this just came to mind that they do the same thing. They're looking at certain things, but we have this thing with having, and I think maybe this might be across the board though, because now this having big butts is a big thing. So, women of color, they want these big butts, and they get the implants, and they go into different places to get, these things, and people are dying from it, and they want to,
black market, they kind
yes,
of do it. Yeah.
yes, they want flat stomachs and all this other thing. But we were just saying how I was just talking to my intern Sade, and we were just talking about how society their idea of beauty is not what we look like.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, the women of color, they want to get these long weaves. This is like a whole nother topic.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
even
we're gonna
wanna-
do that.
I don't even want to really get into it. But yeah, because you know, you have this whole idea that you want to look more. You don't want to look like who you
are.
who you really are. Like, you know, our hair is curly, our hair is kinkier, and we don't want to stick with that. We want to get these long weaves because what society says that being blonde hair and blue eyes is what's beauty. So, but that's a whole nother topic. But it's interesting that this is coming up because my thoughts about it is totally opposite of yours because of what I see and what I get from the girls that I deal with.
It's the similar, you know, mindset, but it's just the outcome is different.
Right, exactly. And
No.
but it's ultimately always comparing yourself, and I
Selves.
think we were saying that a little bit, comparing yourself to someone else.
I think that self-image comes from doing the work, the actual internal work that it takes, going through the hard stuff and taking it to the next level and not being afraid to cry and not being afraid to be afraid and not being afraid to be vulnerable
Yes.
and putting yourself out there because
Yes.
that is really where the strength comes from.
Right.
So many times, and we want to have the surgeries, we want to have the weaves, we want to have whatever it is, the Botox, and unfortunately, sometimes drugs,
Yeah.
right? Because we
Yeah.
don't really want to see reality, because our own reality hurts us too much. So when we can actually do the work for ourselves and not be afraid of that, and how does that begin? When we're
Right.
children.
Yes.
And that means that our parents have to be in that place as well. Otherwise, it's very hard because children always learn what they live, right? And so every single adult in our lives has to be supporting of that. And guess what? It was way back in the moon day when we didn't have all these TVs to
Right, exactly.
to show us there might be a different way.
Right.
You know, we just
influence
loved each other.
The mind. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So to me, self-image is just being the same person in every room.
Yes.
When you could
Yes.
walk through, open any door, and be the same
Confident
person
and be-
in every room,
I like
that's
that.
that's a strong self-image.
I like that. And that's, a positive self-image of yourself, of you know who you are, so you don't have to change for...
Because you knew who you were.
Yes, yes, yes.
And the work that you've done to be
Right,
who you are, and it
exactly.
never ends, because tomorrow is going to bring on different experiences, and so there's other work to be done as well.
But that's the thing. Women say,
right.
you know, especially, they don't know what they want to do. They don't know what their passion is. They don't know what they love. So they always are kind of doing everything for everyone else, worrying about, you know, to care for the children, care for the husband, care for the boss, do whatever. And they're so outward instead of looking inward. So they never really have that time to
Absolutely.
I think that's most people.
It is most people.
It is
Yeah,
most people,
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's most people. They're
Especially women.
especially women.
I think they're more outside and not inside. Yeah.
And that's what we
So they
work
have to
on
learn to
at
know
Braveheart.
themselves.
Yes, yes,
We have a
yes, without
Braveheart
doubt.
Ripple,
Right.
and Dee comes to them,
Yeah.
and we actually teach women how to breathe, how to just allow a breath to come in to create and release oxytocin, which is our natural hormone
Sure,
for
for
life,
living. Yep.
for living. And we get so caught up in our chest so often that we're just kind of in the adrenaline state all the time. And when we can actually release that and just become just tuned into ourselves, then we are our authentic self.
Right,
And we're taking
exactly.
care of ourselves first, and
right.
then, and only then, can we actually be taking care of other people.
That's similar to
Because
the,
it's just
the
that.
airplane with the mask,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes, absolutely. And
Okay.
it's not a selfish thing.
No, it's
you-
not.
Because you,
You have to be good for yourself in order to help
absolutely.
others.
I believe you have to be happy too. And see, a lot of
Sure.
people, they're living for everybody else, and they're not truly happy.
Exactly.
And so the thing is, with that, you can't really be your true authentic self if you are not happy, because you're trying to help other people see this other.
And you lose yourself.
Yes.
Well, I think your true
Yes.
authentic self is happy. That's
Yes,
your
it
true
is,
authentic self.
definitely,
You are.
exactly.
But I think it's difficult when you're wearing that mask
Mm-hmm.
and you want to act like everything is great, but it's really not.
Yeah.
We're just confusing everybody else too. Because until we walk into those every door, the person who we really are, people are going to be confused.
Yeah.
So we're going to be that one person, and that person's going to treat us this way, and then in another room we're going to be a different person. That person's going to treat us this way. So we're never really interacting on an authentic level.
And then you have those who want to please everyone else, or they want to fit in with everyone else because they don't know who they are.
Yes, and that's
But everyone's,
self-destruction.
see, what
Yeah.
we don't realize is everyone's going through their own struggle,
Absolutely.
You're right.
like always. And we always think we're the only ones.
This is true.
We're not the only ones. Everyone is dealing with something. So that's a
The
huge
only thing
part.
I'm dealing with is I want to be a millionaire. That's it.
Well, the thing is, at this point, I know with myself, I actually, I had a very bad self-image of myself. Yeah, well, that sounds kind of crazy, but yeah, I had a very bad self-image.
You get it.
Redundant, yeah, but go ahead.
But what happened was, I realized in order to just live past it or go past it, I had to just find me and find what I wanted to do. And I still haven't found totally what I
Work in
want to do,
progress.
but I'm working on it. I'm definitely a work in progress. But the thing is, when people tell you that, oh, well, you need to look like this, or, you know, I had a mother that she was trying to really care, but unfortunately, the way she did it was not so nice. So the thing was, it made you feel very, you know, I find people tell you something, and they think that it's being productive
helping.
and helping,
Yeah,
but it's not necessarily something that you need to share or
I think it's the way that they come off sometimes. and how
possibly,
they
yeah.
address it.
And you know what? I'm now. If someone says, "Oh, you know, you look like you gained some weight," I can take it. Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
right.
did.
You know, you're right.
Sure.
Like, oh, that's great.
It is what
Yes,
it
I
is. You know.
Thank you for noticing.
You know. Oh,
That's funny.
you know. But some people don't realize that you don't really have to go there because that person does know that. But it's like, thank you, and we have to just move forward and say, yeah, I'm working on it, you know. And if this is who I am, I'll be who I am, and just embrace
Embrace.
who you are, you know. So I got to the point that when people, and I wanted to do something, I said, well, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to wait for somebody else to do it, because if I did, then I would not get to where I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to enjoy it. So now I say, okay, I may step out of my comfort zone, but I do it anyway. And may it fall where it falls. And okay, it wasn't that good, but next time it'll be a little better, you know?
That's the way growth happens.
Yeah, so I'm learning and baby steps. Otherwise, I would not have been here doing what I'm doing right now, because I definitely stepped out of my comfort zone. When I first saw myself on camera the first time, I was like, oh, I was kind of horrified.
Why?
Because I was so comfortable and I did not realize because I had not seen myself. So when I did see myself, I was like, oh, wow. You know? Because all I could see was the belly, and I was just sitting there.
You're carrying yourself apart.
And
We're our own worst critics.
That's exactly what it is.
No, but it was true. It was so true. If you see that first picture of me, and I was comfortable until I wasn't. And then all of a sudden when I saw her, I started fidgeting and carrying on because I was trying to get so that maybe I get an angle so that it wasn't so bad. But it was just what it was. At that point, I just, hey, this is who I am. I had to deal with it. And the next time I was invited to be on the show, I went. Even though, and I said, well, okay, I'll make some kind of adjustment.
Was it the first time when you were?
No, that was my second time.
Okay. 'Cause you were nervous on the time when you and I were on this
Yeah,
together.
that was my second. It still wasn't quite there, but I went. And I've been on, you know, I kept on, and I kept on. And, hey,
That's
I'm
it.
here.
Well, we're glad
That's
you
great.
did.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well,
And
good.
it's okay, you know, and I know I have my moments. I do. But all in all, it's okay, you know. Eventually, I said, you know again. Oh, I did this, or I did that. But eventually, we'll be okay. I'm just out there doing
We are
it.
okay.
We are okay.
We are always.
This is it.
Okay.
Oh, this is true. You're right. This
Exactly.
is so true. Very, very true. And I've been meeting so many people because,
You're changing the world.
yes, it's we're all changing
Yeah,
the world.
exactly.
We all are changing
That's
the
a
world.
huge
So,
part. I
with-
really stepped out of my comfort zone for myself.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
think I would be here,
no,
even beginning of this year,
yeah.
especially on camera. Like, you know. So I mean, I'm grateful. You know, but
Yeah.
you know, nervous a little bit. Yeah, but I feel like, you know what? I have a message, and I want to be able to spread that message and make a difference.
Right.
So you're here.
We're
and-
all here kind of for the same
Same
thing.
message.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it. We're all
that's
messengers.
And that's
so-
why I brought you all. No.
So is that I don't
So
believe
you
I
bribed
don't believe in
us.
coincidences, but was it for you? Like, you know, was this meant to be like the certain?
Oh
okay.
yeah, I reached out to a core group of people that had a message and have been bringing this message to others.
Well, the message is love. Bottom line message.
We have to love ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we don't love ourselves, you can't have a good self-image. I was talking to one of my friends, and she's been a long-time friend, and she made it very clear that she says, well, she's smart. She's a smart young lady, and she does really well at her job, but she says that in terms of her appearance, she doesn't feel that confident, and her self-image is getting worse as she gets older. And I'm like, why? Me, I'm like, whatever, you know.
What did
it's-
she
it's-
say when you? Why is it?
well,
yeah,
at that point, she just feels that she can be better. She's a little overweight, but she's not. I'm like, I wish I was that size, but I have to be who I am at this point. I gained weight, but it's the perception of what's at society.
But that's where all the other self-isms fit in to it. So it's self-acceptance,
Right.
right? Goes hand. It's self-accept. Can't say
Acceptance.
that. See?
Take two.
Self-acceptance
Yes.
and self-esteem,
Right.
self-worth,
Right.
self-image.
Right.
You know,
Self.
there are steps to
sure.
this. You know, and
Sure.
if we can't accept ourselves, then our image will always be impaired
Right.
of how we feel when we present ourselves to the world. Because this is not presenting my message.
Right.
Something else internal is
Exactly.
presenting my message.
Exactly.
Well, most people aren't
Yeah,
thinking that along those terms.
What's
I
that?
said most people aren't thinking along those lines.
Right.
They, you know,
But we have to
And that's
start
why we're-
changing
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to start changing
Yeah,
that
well-
because it's inside. It's not what's outside.
No, absolutely.
Sure. For me, I know I struggled because I was hiding. I was hiding who I was, my message, and with that, I built a wall of fat, weight around me. And I was hiding, and I was keeping myself hidden, and I'm not doing
Protected.
that. Yeah, you know, and I'm not doing that to myself anymore, you know, so it's kind of really freeing because I'm not focusing on, you know, what I'm eating next and this and that, and I'm just kind of enjoying, and I know where I'm wanting to be, and I know where I was, so it's like completely a 180, and I love it, you know, and I know that I can help, and I think that's where maybe your friend, where she was struggling too, because maybe the further away you are from where you need to be as far as maybe like your mission or your purpose, you kind of get off track, and then you get depressed and you get kind of sad, and then it just, you know, one thing kind of piles up on the other, and then before you know it, you're not loving yourself completely. So I think maybe that's probably something what she's
Right.
dealing with too.
Right.
And then you get unhappy, and what happens? You eat. You know, I'm Italian too, so I'm an emotional eater. I eat for every occasion, really. But you know, I
And
mean,
you don't feel worthy,
yeah, it's
right?
huge.
So then your whole self-worth goes to shambles, and then that is a trickle effect to everything else. And
Yeah.
so anything that you did build upon can be very easily destroyed
Exactly.
by just a couple of bad thoughts in your own mind about
Exactly.
yourself.
Right.
So,
So I know with myself, I try not to put those bad thoughts in anymore.
yeah, and it's gonna happen. You know, like
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. So we're not sitting here on this couch because we've mastered it.
Mm-mm.
I know I didn't master
No.
it.
Right.
You know,
No,
it happens
work in
all the
progress,
time.
Definitely.
But when you can bring yourself back
Right.
and know that these are just some thoughts and they don't mean anything because
Right.
we're really not our thoughts.
Right. I find that the smiling, and I know they say that just to smile, that kind of helps a lot. Or just think more positive about what's going on around you. What it may have had some negative, something has happened, but if you think about it and make it into a lesson and turn it into a positive, that is a way to go also. So there's a lot of different mechanisms. I don't have them all. Maybe Cherie.
No, I was gonna say, I think for me, being in my own analysis, not even just my own therapy, my own analysis where I would have to be there twice a week, helped me a lot. I can't recall or say to myself that I've had any kind of self-image issues, honestly. I grew up being the only girl with 3 brothers and the baby. So I think I'm really trying to think. I think I got a lot of she thinks she's better. She thinks she's all that. You know, I got a lot of that growing up, and I always say that I'm grateful for that, because if somebody was telling me, oh, she's a piece of crap, then I might have thought that I was a piece of crap. But I think I questioned, because I didn't think I was any different from anybody else. And I think one of my things is I don't give myself enough credit for things. But as far as image and worth, I think that's been pretty healthy.
Well,
I
that's
think
it.
I think it's been pretty healthy. I don't, because sometimes even in a therapy session, when I speak to other women, I'm so surprised sometimes when I see women who are CEOs of companies and they have the worst, self-esteem or sense of self, or they don't have a healthy sense of self, I should say. I'm amazed, because I'm like, you really seem like you have it all together. I think my spirituality plays a big part in it, because I do know who I am. Again, my therapy, being spiritual, has played a big part in me just being confident in what I do. Yeah, so sometimes I struggle with understanding. So this is like an eye opener, just listening. Sometimes I struggle with understanding people who don't have. I see it in some of the behaviors and stuff like that, but I don't understand what's really going on within. And things like depression, feeling depressed, feeling sad, those things, anxiety, I can relate, because I've had those feelings, or I had some similar experiences to other people. But when it comes to that sense of that self-worth, I don't really get it.
Right.
So you guys can help me to some degree, and I'm really being honest, because when I say even in dating, certain things that I don't certain things that I won't accept. It's like, okay, well, and then when I talk to other women, they go, oh yeah, well, there's some women, a lot of women accept that, and I'm like, are you kidding me? This can't be really happening. I can't be like, one out of 100 women that I'm not going to accept that. And I think we've had these kind of conversations. Yeah. But then that's what's really made me think about women and their self-esteem and feeling worthy. And are you loving and valuing yourself?
Right. Because you would
accepting
accept
their
something
behavior.
like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But when you love and value yourself, you won't. So that, I think that's what made me, and then the whole cattiness of women, the competition, the whole crabs in a barrel thing that we did,
right.
It makes me question. That's the kind of things that make me question, because I really couldn't grasp it. And I think that maybe not having sisters too is because when you have sisters, you get to have that kind of experience. I didn't have that.
Well, it depends on what the sisters are, and it depends on how you were brought up.
Right.
Because if you have somebody that didn't know how to nourish that self-esteem, nourish that self-image, and you have somebody knocking you down, then you have to learn how to build your own self-esteem.
Thank you, Mommy. And thank you to my brothers.
It can be very challenging, because I know myself, because I had the buck teeth and I was overweight and I had a lot of challenges. So my mom didn't, she was trying to help, but she didn't know how to. She just didn't know how to do that. And I had to find it for myself. And I'm blessed and
You know-
with the spirituality
Yeah.
and with people around me and seeing that I want to be happy. And how am I going to be happy? I can't expect anybody else to make me happy.
Nope.
You have to make yourself happy.
Right.
Absolutely, and
You know.
even in the households where they did have encouraging parents, they still have to find it themselves.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
You do.
Exactly.
You do, and I think the more I am do my things in spiritual wise, because you're always on a journey. So 'cause I wasn't going to say the closer I get to, but I think that gave me even more confident. I think I've always been confident, but I think that even put me in a
More knowing.
Yeah, so it definitely am more knowing, but I even because I know who I am.
Know who you are.
And it's like nobody can come to me and tell me different about anything negative, because if they do, it kind of rolls off my back. It really does.
Right. Well, that's what I when somebody comes across a little harsh or what
Yeah.
have you, I'm like, well, I can't take that personally. That's their
Right.
crap.
Never take it. But I also believe that everyone is your mirror.
Right.
But I'm in my head. I am questioning. If somebody comes and says something negative, and I'm like, okay, what is this about? Before I'm even responding.
That's a good way
Yes.
of looking at it.
Yeah, and I try to teach my kids that.
Because the universe will give you exactly what you need.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
All the
It's
time.
all
But I
lessons.
feel like
They're all lessons.
everybody's your mirror. I had a friend curse me, literally curse me out, and I'm like, okay, she's angry, so I'm looking at me like, what's some unresolved anger that I have or resentment that I have, because I believe everyone's your mirror.
Right.
But that's even though that's her issue, there's something within me that attracted that. So I'm constantly working on me, constantly,
Yeah.
even in those kind of interactions. And I think in my sessions, I am also helping others do the same, to
Right.
see the same, that you constantly work on you, no matter what's going on. It can be the other person, but what's going on within you that you're in that situation.
So it's whatever's coming out of somebody else's mouth is about them, but what lesson is there here for me? That's the entire, that's how we move forward, that's how we grow.
Right.
Because if we just get angry and we start fighting and screaming back, there's nothing happening there but a bunch of noise for no good reason, and
Yeah.
nothing's being resolved. And like
Absolutely
Cherie
not.
said,
Yeah,
she's
don't do
growing
that.
from this
Sure.
experience,
Yeah.
and that's beautiful.
Yeah, because I had to look at what's within me that I'm angry about, or some kind of resentments or anger. What's there
Yeah.
for me that I need to resolve? Because that's, even though I was the calm one and she was, but there's something there.
That's good that you looked at that, because if you didn't, it would happen with someone else. And it would keep kind of showing up in your life until you actually stopped and
Yeah,
thought about
absolutely. It will keep showing up. It will keep showing
But
up.
if we can all do this, we can resolve a lot of conflict and hatred in the world.
Yeah.
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 If people
Exactly.
are willing to look at themselves,
Right.
it's easier for people to point fingers. Nobody wants to look
Take
at themselves.
responsibility
Yeah, they
for
don't
that.
want to take responsibility for their own behaviors.
Yeah.
That's
It shows up a lot in
It's so
relationships.
true.
Huge.
So you're working with the children, Dawn.
yes.
So in terms of, you still helping them find their self-esteem?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Sure hope so.
I know that when I read your book,
Yes.
it was very inspiring to me as an adult, even, that it just kind of helped, because I know that the self-esteem and the self-image is so very close.
Yes.
And so, in terms of working with these children, how do you inspire them to?
Well, that's how the book actually became a book.
Right,
Because
right.
when I was doing workshops with kids, when I spoke to them, I brought a Jack in the Box with me, one of those old-fashioned, Jack in the Boxes, and I'd ask them how they thought Jack felt when he was out of the box, and how they thought he felt when he was in the box. And so, as we're going around the room, and they're giving this very authentic answer, and not afraid of who they were in that moment, and it was beautiful. And so I said, I'd love to have 1,000 kids in a room, but we know how hard that is, you know?
Yeah.
And I would always plan these workshops on, opening day for Little League, or holiday, like weekend. Who knew?
You're
Right?
planning.
So, it was like I had this great guest list, and then 6 children would show up. And I'd keep doing it, and it was fine. One child is, one person at a time. That's how we grow. But the thing was, I knew I could reach more children and do a bigger workshop in the schools through assemblies and work with, classes. And,
So you work
You know-
with certain age groups?
yeah, pretty much it's 4 to 6 is like the niche,
Hmm.
but it can go to 8.
I think that's a good age too.
Yeah, 4 to
Not
6
working
is
with self-esteem.
early development. They understand, they'll sit long enough to hear what you have to say. They'll answer a question,
Right.
Intelligently, with, not that anybody else, but, I'm just saying, like, they're there. They're
They
at that level.
understand,
And they really are just incredible. And they really want to grow and
Yeah.
understand
Right,
and, and they don't want to be picked on.
right.
They don't. And they don't want to pick on people either,
Right.
but
I don't
it's a
think-
lot easier to be that
At
than
our
it is.
core, we're love.
Absolutely.
And when I talk to my kids, I work with middle school students. So when they do mean things or say mean things, I go, how would you like if someone said that to you? Does that feel good?
Yes.
Would you like that? And they say no, because that's not really who we are. We're not really the mean spirited. We don't. That doesn't feel good. So it's not natural for us.
Right.
That's not natural.
Right.
Right.
So
We're out of
it's-
alignment.
Right. Exactly. So you don't feel good, and then they're able to see it. But I think.
Not
I
everyone.
Think,
It's fear-based.
Right. Absolutely. If it's either fear or love. Yeah.
Right.
So if it's not love, it's fear. But I think that naturally we want to be kind and compassionate unless we're sociopaths.
Unless you're a sociopath.
Yeah. But I
Right,
think
That's another show.
Yeah, but I think at our
Another
core,
show.
that's what we really want. We really
Yeah.
want. So
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't feel good to. And I learned that because I could be mean too, just like But at one point, I will not do it now. But it didn't feel good for me. And sometimes when somebody really pushes you,
I think that's within themselves. They have a fear of rejection, a fear of really showing who they are, and they don't want to be judged.
like they're being too vulnerable. But
That's their own insecurity.
yeah, but I think it feels better for me to be nice.
Sure.
It doesn't
Sure.
feel good.
Well, I will ask a person, why are you being mean? And they have to sit back and say, ooh. Sometimes they
That's
don't even
great.
recognize the fact
Exactly,
that they are
because it
being
becomes
mean.
so normal
Yeah.
for them.
and it is a protection.
Yes.
Or it is something that they did because
They
they
rather
were,
hurt you first before
Yeah.
they
Protecting
get
themselves.
exactly.
Yeah.
So and I think probably they do have a low self-image
internally. Yep.
because of the fact that they need to make it about somebody else opposed to focusing on
They need
themselves.
to be bigger, they need to be louder,
Yes.
to
Yeah.
just kind of claim some space, when that's not the kind of space that gets you,
Right. Right.
what you're looking for.
Exactly. And it's a whole big lesson. And society right now it's very scary because people want to be healthy, but they don't know how to get there.
And
So-
if you're in an environment where everybody's doing the same thing,
This is
they're
true.
responding in a negative way, then that's more like normal.
Right.
So that's
Well,
what they do.
It's who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's so funny now because if people do want to get help, they need to go and look. The resources are so there.
Absolutely, yeah.
And when you go online or you just talk to people that are there like yourselves, you can find that somebody that's
They
going
have to be
able
willing
to, yeah, well,
to-
they do have to be willing, but they
And
have
not feel
to,
embarrassed and be
Well,
ready.
the
Yeah.
bottom line is if you're ready to release whatever pain,
Mhm.
because that's what it is.
Yeah.
People are in pain.
Right.
When they're ready to get rid of that pain and live a happier life.
Mhm.
On my website, it says something about pain.
Right.
Pain only shows up to let us know that there's something that needs to change. So, I mean, if they're ready to release that, then that's when
Shows
they'll-
up in addictions.
that's
later in life,
when
too.
that's when they'll seek help.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Mhm.
sometimes the pain becomes normal for them.
This is true. This is true. I know with myself, I feel like I have grown leaps and bounds just from sharing, being able to now be able to receive, because the universe you always giving, but now
You need a balance.
you have to have that balance.
Have
The
to be able
spirit,
to receive.
yes, you have to
Yep.
learn how to receive. And going to the workshops that, with the Brave Heart,
Yes.
and just taking what's there to, is supposed to be coming to you. This is really definitely supposed to be us. And so for us to all be here right now, this is where we're supposed to be, so to grow and to balance,
Well,
like you
go
said,
to
we
the
definitely
next
have to
one, yeah.
balance. It's the, what, body, mind, and
Mind, body,
spirit.
and spirit.
Yeah, you have to have that balance. If you don't have it, you're going to feel self.
It's gonna be resentful too.
Yes.
Giving, and not getting
Yes,
that.
yeah. Your self-worth is so
Mhm.
not healthy.
Mhm.
And I like that, because you really have to be healthy. In order to be healthy, happy, live long,
Joyful.
joyful,
And the thing is, it's not in anything that we can purchase. We
No.
can't
No,
find
no,
it in,
no,
you know,
no.
you
Money doesn't
can't
buy
find it
happiness.
anywhere else but within.
Yeah.
But inside. And that
Exactly.
sounds like the old airy-fairy kind
Yeah, but
of,
that's true.
meditate,
It's
but
true.
it's true.
That is so
It's
true.
the
It's
only thing that works.
I mean, because
to
when I
attain
have
self-love.
people that come to me and they have all these things, I have a girl who has 16 fur coats. And,
And that's her thing. And
yeah,
that's-
but when I go to ask people like that, not necessarily her, but when I go to ask people like her what they feel about themselves and what they feel within, it's never a healthy answer. It's never a healthy response.
Right.
But those are things to help compensate for what they feel that they don't have and to cover up other insecurities. So you don't need things to be happy.
No, see, and then you think that people can make you happy.
Oh yeah.
You can't have anybody make you happy. I can't
Happiness
help.
is a choice.
It is a choice.
So you have
It
to
is a
choose to be
choice.
happy. When I go to work every
Absolutely.
morning, and they say, one of the teachers, she calls me Miss Susie Sun. She's like Miss Susie Sunshine. And they even asked me,
Thank you.
somebody even asked me, do I smoke weed in the morning before I come to work? And
No.
and I go, I just have to be happy. I need to be, and I'm at a place where you can't even call me in the morning with nonsense because it sets the tone for my day.
Yeah.
I need to
You're
have
setting
a,
your boundaries.
yeah, I need to have a good day.
That's great.
Yes.
Good for you.
So I don't want to hear anything. Even before I go to bed, I can't hear anything that's negative. I need
And
to,
that's everything that's on TV.
yeah, exactly. I don't watch a lot of
That's
TV.
true.
I don't
Yeah.
watch a lot of
TV.
TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can go weeks without turning my TV on.
I don't know how to turn my TV
It's on in my house, but because I live with people who watch it, but I don't choose
Yeah.
to turn it
Yeah.
on.
But I can't.
Yeah, I don't listen
Yeah,
to
I have to
news
have a
or
good day.
Nope.
anything.
Yeah, I have
Especially
to.
the news. I don't even touch
Yeah.
that. Try that.
I don't watch news at
No,
all.
no,
Nobody. I'm
that's
the
always-
person who doesn't know anything that's going on.
No, you're not the only one. Believe me.
No.
I don't know anything.
And wait, when we had a snowstorm.
You know anything?
I think we had a snowstorm one year, and I happened to go into a store and I saw the newspaper. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a snowstorm? Yeah. And they're like, you better watch it. No, it's okay. Somebody will tell me. 'Cause I need to know.
I have the weather.
If I do hear it on the street and I find it worthy to look into a little bit more, I'll
Exactly.
go read it somewhere.
Exactly.
But I won't turn the
Exactly.
TV on. They
Yeah.
they thrive. They thrive on the fear base that we
Negativity.
are
Yes.
in, and that's what's keeping
That's
us
how
all
they-
stuck.
And that's how they can control us. Yeah,
Yeah.
they won't control me because I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why they're telling us what our self-image is supposed to be.
Right. Same
And
thing.
that's not cool.
That's not cool.
just not cool.
No.
So we have to take control of that and really just say, okay, no, not anymore. We don't want that. So we have to say, we want to live. We want to be happy. We want to grow old and like my grandma, wear her heels till 99 years old.
That's
That's
That's me. I'm gonna do that. That's me.
But she had that balance.
Yeah.
She lived with balance. And she knew body, soul, body, spirit, and mind needed to be balanced at all times.
At all times.
And,
And it takes work.
the
I mean,
negativity, yeah, it's there. But guess what? Okay, her husband died first. Our son, only child, died first.
Wow.
But you know what? She still lived 10, 15, 20 years
Oh, that's
after
good.
my dad passed away. It was
Wow.
okay. It was about 10 years. And
she lived life. She loved life. So she lived
Love
it.
life and life will love you back.
And it wasn't the negativity or anything. And
Yeah.
it was maybe occasionally I'm like, Grandma, no, he didn't say that, did you? But it's just feeling good about self and having that image.
And you know what? I think one of the things is just loving your uniqueness. Because the comparative, I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be Cherie. I want to be who I am. I want to have my own sense of how I do things. I don't want to be like everyone else. So
I agree.
I think when you accept that and just, no, you don't have to be like everyone else or look like,
I think that's
wanna
what
say
kept
Kim
me
Kardashian.
hidden for so long because I was unique.
Yeah.
I am unique. I'm different, and I knew that, and everyone else seemed to be a certain way, and I didn't fit that way. So I didn't want to be judged, and I kept myself hidden. I think that was like a good.
Well, yeah,
yeah,
you gotta accept that.
yeah. I think that's what like a big
People think
part
I'm a
of that.
freak.
Well, you know
My
what?
family
It's
thinks I'm
okay.
crazy.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay, and that's why I feel I'm okay now. I was like, okay, yeah, I got a little stuff going on. Yeah. But don't try to change me. And the thing is, a lot of people do try to change, and then you feel like maybe something's not right. Someone will come up to you and say, oh, well, I don't really like what you got on.
Okay.
Well,
That's my favorite
you.
line.
Who are you hanging out with?
You weren't seeing me there. Like,
So why would you think that's okay?
My
for-
favorite line is,
Yeah,
okay.
Okay.
I say okay to
Thank
everything.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
What do they say in the South? Bless her heart.
Yeah.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't understand why people think that they have to come and tell you.
Well, that's not about you. That's about
Yeah,
them.
it's
They,
about
they
them.
need to
Yeah.
and they need to get attention off of something going on with them.
Right.
So.
People are only going to be attracted to. So if people are following what you believe in, like we're all here believing the same thing, so
Right.
people will look at you and say, I believe in what she's doing, and look at her go.
Right.
And not very often can we look at another woman and say, go girl,
Yeah.
because
yeah.
we're based on fear, and if she's gonna be better than me, that's not cool, and we don't really go there.
competition.
Right.
See, I always hated
It's
competition. I'm
not
telling you, it
good.
had to be about me not having sisters because I hate competition. I'm like, I don't want to compete. Like, just you do your thing and let me do
Yeah,
my
and
thing.
that's
I don't
it.
like that.
That's another thing
Yeah.
that we do in Braveheart as well, because we teach women we do harmony circles. It's so beautiful.
And what do you teach women how to what? Because I need to hear this.
So we do harmony circles, and we teach women how to look into another woman's eyes and just we're sisters, Braveheart sisters.
Oh,
and
I like that.
Yes, and
Oh, I should have bought you. I didn't know this was gonna be. I would have bought Yolanda because she does the grown girls.
Oh, right.
But yeah, and that's something maybe she could do because I just
It's
even
amazing.
though women come together and they want to empower each other, I've yet to see.
Well, you have to come too.
It be I've yet
Yes.
to see it be authentic.
Well, no, this is actually very authentic,
And-
and actually that's how I met Dawn.
Okay.
At one of these events. Actually, I
And
was,
it-
I was
because you
very
know why?
regular.
Yes.
The younger,
She was a regular.
It
I-
really
I'm
has
a-
to be women who are okay with who they are.
And that's what we
that's
have.
the key.
Yeah,
If you're not
that's-
okay with who you are, you're
But
not going to
it's
be able
not.
to.
But it's not.
Excuse
and
me.
it's really not. It's about women not being okay and then being able to step outside of that.
But when I say
Trusting.
it has to be with them being okay with who they are, it's the authenticity. Like being authentic, I just feel like the women that I've seen allegedly empowering each other, you're not okay with you. So how are you really empowering someone else? And I just questioned it being authentic because it becomes like a competition, or it still becomes this separation. And I don't think that's not empowering someone.
But I think it's also the more you do it, and the more affirmations you do, and the more positive self-talk you do, it doesn't always happen like that.
Okay, that I know.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the more you do it, and the more like the circles, and the more they're saying like, I love myself, I am beautiful, and look in the mirror and be like, wow, I look great today, or whatever. If you tend to start making those shifts. So it may not be instant.
No, I know, and I know it's not.
No, but I
instant.
know what
Yeah.
Cherie's saying.
Yeah.
Cherie's saying
Yeah.
basically some people
'Cause it's
are,
a-
are,
it takes-
are projecting themselves to be something that they're not.
Right, and it's like it takes
Or-
work. It's an
Exactly.
everyday thing that you have to do. And when practicing, that means if I come and I see D and I go, "Ooh, I don't like what she has on," I need to check myself, even thinking it.
Because you're there.
Right, that's what.
You're
But
there
it's
all
the
along.
work.
Everybody is.
But it's the
Yeah.
work that you. That's what I mean. It's work that
It's
you have
work.
to. But I'm not saying everybody's there. But if you're on this journey to be better and to empower women, then you need to check yourself.
Yeah.
You can't.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that they would be
I think
any
they're-
less authentic. I just think that they're starting out, like where
I
you're
get what
here.
you're
They're
saying.
searching.
Yeah,
I get
they're
what you're
trying.
saying.
They're trying to get
I
to that.
definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if I feel like if you want to go into this area to do these things, you have to check yourself. And when I say that, if your goal is to empower other women, you can't. You think about what you're doing when you are. I'm saying D and Dawn. I want to bring you, but Tara, I don't really like her much. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, when women gather, the truth of the matter is, when women gather who want to be in the same room together, they're open. They are there to receive, to give, to whatever they can do in that room, in that
Okay.
moment. If they go home and they scream like lunatics, whatever's happening at that point, they're looking for something, but I believe that they are completely present
Okay.
in that moment.
Okay.
And so you're always going to have somebody who's stronger in this area or stronger in that area, or somebody who's just going to cry for an hour and a half.
Okay. And I get
You know?
that.
And but that's growth. That's all growth. And if somebody was there and somebody was picking that person out and just eventually,
I get that.
eventually they will check themselves.
Yeah.
Right. No, and I get that.
Yeah.
But when it's continuous and you're not checking yourself, it's like, okay, I don't want to be
Are
a
you
But
part
they're
saying,
of
not-
are you
they're
saying
going to
outside
remove-
of that type of a scenario, or just on a general day-to-day basis? Like
No,
you-
I'm saying in that type of thing. Like, again, if we're women, we're in a circle
But
of
they're
trying
not
to empower.
ready. At
Right.
that point, they're just not ready,
Right.
and they're
I
not.
get
They're
that.
going to ultimately leave that because they can't. They're not going to be able to deal with that type of scenario.
I know. I agree.
You
I
know,
agree.
They'll
Until-
leave long before
I
you have
agree.
to ask them to.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
I definitely
But that
agree.
may
But-
be an experience that they've never had before. So that may be.
And the defense mechanism that comes with it too.
But
You're
to me,
strong. You're a
not-
strong woman.
You're
So,
not doing the work then. You're not really doing the work.
They don't know that there's work to be done yet.
No, they're
But
not.
if you're in a group and everybody and that's all they're talking about, it's like you got to do the work. You have to do the work.
But they're still.
It's like-
They're
That's where, like,
it's
if-
not
if,
there.
like, say, like,
That-
But
Hey,
they're
I
looking
went
at
on a
you
retreat.
saying,
And I never had been on a retreat before, and I went, and it was life-changing for me because I also connected with all these amazing women, and they're watching now. So, I love them, and it's their support, and we continued. I'm that much stronger, that much where I'm wanting to be in my business. I don't know if I would have gotten this far. So, like she was saying, like you're in an environment where everyone is looking to accomplish the same thing.
Right.
And then after, like say after you do the circles, after you do your session, after you do the retreat, that's when you kind of work with a coach, work with someone to continue.
See, that's what I mean. Those are the things. That's what I mean when I'm saying doing the work. But if you're not doing those things, that's exactly what I mean. If you're not doing those things, and then I'm just not seeing. I just don't see like the purpose. Like you're just getting together with other women sometime, but you're not doing your own individual work. And I think that's important.
Well, you know what? They probably, and I'm not really sure, but at that point, they're on their own path, their own journey.
everybody.
Yep.
So ultimately, they're going to have to find their way.
And I get that.
In order to get to where they really want, if they really want to empower and bring people together and empower themselves, empower others, they have to really start going inside.
Right.
Not everybody walking into those rooms are empowered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And not everybody in those rooms are not only not empowered, they don't know that they're not empowered.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah,
And that's
No, I
that's the
understand.
whole.
That's my point. So that's why it's sometimes I'm not able to. I'm like, okay, I'll stick with the children. I say that. I said, I love working with my kids. And if their mothers feel like they need to be empowered, then I do that. But I do a lot of my stuff individually in therapy because I feel like those are the people who they're coming out and they want to make change. They know that they need to make some type of change or they want to do something different in their lives. So that's why I stick with that. But that's why I wanted to know about that because I really would like to be involved or be around women who are able to be authentic like that, because
Oh,
I'm authentic.
Yeah, yeah.
So I really, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, ladies, you all are troopers too. Because I wasn't sure whether this was going to happen, and it did. And I knew we probably would need to do this again.
Why don't we
And
get this-
so I don't know whether it's going to be next week, but we're going to do it again.
Okay.
And
It'd be great.
we only have
So is-
5 more minutes. So at this point, give where we can reach each one of y'all, and what projects you might be doing or what have you, and letting everybody know what's what. Cherie wants to
I'm
go
Cherie
first.
George. I have a psychotherapy practice in Garden City, 585 Stewart Avenue. I can be reached at 516-874-6374, and my website is cdorch, that's CDORTCH therapist.com. And I also have a foundation, Choose Love for Life, Choose Love for Ourselves, Each Other, and Our Community, which I do a scholarship fund for students, and I do different events promoting love.
Okay.
Simple.
Very nice. And
Okay, so I am spiritual self-love coach, so spiritualselflovecoach.com. I
Tara.
also have
what's your name?
Tara.
Tara what?
Really?
Not really.
Yes, so I offer coaching packages, and I am promoting the movie Embrace, like I had said in the beginning. So you could go to that link, spiritualselflovecoach.com, and there's an actual little memo and a link to where you can buy the tickets online if you're in the Ronkonkoma area. So, and also if you have any questions, there's the email support@selflovecoach.com.
Okay. Dawn?
I'm Dawn Kroberger. I am an author of a book called Jack Out of the Box. It is self-esteem elevation for children. I do assemblies. I do self-love and self-expression. I'm a self-expression coach, I should say, and self-esteem coach. And you can find me on jackoutoftheboxbook.com, and there's a link to my coaching website as well. My phone number is 631-943-4869, and my email address is dawncrow, K-R-O, @gmail.com.
And ladies, my friends, thank you
Thank you.
for coming out and sharing this amazing subject, because we need to empower each other and get our self-image in check. Yeah,
Yes.
and keep it in check, because right now I know mine is good.
I'm gonna bring Yolanda next time.
Yeah.
Yolanda, you're gonna come next time.
We're going to definitely do it again, and we'll definitely do it in November before the show, so
Great.
that it's important.
Get your tickets, guys.
My birthday, I'm not gonna be here for my birthday, but we're definitely, because I want this group here, because they're amazing, and thank you. And I want to thank you for hanging in there and coming, and if you didn't see it live, well, you can see it on YouTube, and you're gonna be able to check us out and check these folks out, they're amazing. I'm doing my thing with my coaching and the show, and just trying to keep on inspiring and sharing our passions and our passions for life. So come on back next week, and we're going to share some more passions for life with you and friends. See you next week. Take care.
Thank you.